I was asking God if I should be a Protestant or a Catholic or what, and suddenly God and Jesus appeared before me. And they said I should start my own church.
And that's how the Book of Mormon was written, dum 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 dum.
And while we were here, we were visited by Christ.
Jesus lived here in America?
South Park's brutal take on this religion has left jaws on the floor. They ripped into sacred stories with zero mercy, turning the holy history of Mormons into savage parody. The shocking twist came when the show still portrayed Mormons as the kindest people.
Many people believe Joseph, dum 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 dum.
South Park has never been afraid of starting fires. If there's a controversial topic, Trey Parker and Matt Stone are the first to throw gasoline on it. Politicians, celebrities, religions, no one is safe. Fans call them equal opportunity offenders. That's exactly why South Park hits harder than any other comedy.
All you've got are a bunch of stories about some asswipe who read plates nobody ever saw out of a hat and then couldn't do it again when the translations were hidden.
Hey, Stan, don't denounce our religion.
I don't want to be Mormon, Dad.
Not just a quick gag, a full-on obsession. The infamous punchline still echoes, "You picked the wrong religion, it was the Mormons." But why? What is it about this one faith that fascinates Trey and Matt more than all the others?
We grew up in Colorado, which is right next to Utah, so there's a lot of Mormons even in our state. So we knew a lot of Mormon. My first girlfriend was Mormon.
They grew up in Colorado, right next to Utah, the capital of Mormonism. Salt Lake City is ground zero for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that influence spills across state lines. Their neighborhoods, classrooms, and streets were filled with Mormon families and missionaries.
Yeah, it's great you have your own beliefs.
Yeah, right, for the marshes. Oh, stop it! That's another thing. Why do you have to be so freaking nice all the time? It isn't normal. You just weasel people into your way of thinking by acting like the happiest family in the world and being so nice to everyone that you just blindside dumb people like my dad.
And here's what stood out most. Mormons weren't just religious, they were too nice. Almost unnervingly nice. Always smiling, always polite, always perfect. The kind of flawless behavior that doesn't fade from your memory. It festers into creative fuel.
You know, not just what their religion was, but their story in terms of being this whole thing born in America and then them pioneering across the states. And
so when you see Mormon episodes in South Park, it isn't random, it's personal. Years of growing up next to this culture gave Parker and Stone a front row seat to its contradictions. Unbelievably wholesome on the outside, unbelievably bizarre underneath. That brings us to the crown jewel, the 2003 episode All About Mormons.
I want you all to say hi to Gary.
I'm really excited to live in this town and share all kinds of great experiences with you, my new friends.
Oh, dude, what a little asshole.
Hey, my name's Gary.
Mr. Garrison introduces a new student named Gary, a Mormon Ken doll. Blonde hair, perfect smile, straight A student, state champion in 2 sports. He's the kid your mom wishes you'd invite over, and the one you secretly wish would trip in the hallway. Naturally, the boys hate him. Cartman, always first to attack, tries a lame gay joke. Normally, that would crush a kid. But Gary just laughs it off. No anger, no awkwardness. He takes it like a Giga Chad who knows he's winning at everything already and
Hey there! You want to kick the ball around with me?
No, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Excuse me?
I'm gonna kick your ass, bitch.
Oh, I get it.
Dan gets pressured into fighting him. But when he squares up, Gary flips the script. Instead of swinging, he smiles and offers friendship. Stan doesn't punch him. He gets curious.
I'm going over to his house for dinner tonight.
What? How did that happen?
You were supposed to kick his ass, not lick his butthole. You're having dinner with his family? What kind of family has a kid like that?
That's how Stan ends up at Gary's house. And this is where South Park throws viewers into the uncanny valley of Mormon family life.
Stan, this is my mom and dad.
Hi, Stan!
It's so nice to meet you.
Well, it's great you could join us for family home evening, Stan.
That's when we don't allow any TV and just entertain each other with music and stories.
Where be your gibes now? Your gambles, your songs.
All right, kids. Now how about we do some scripture readings from the Book of Mormon?
The Book of Mormon? What's that?
Gary's family hosts something called Family Home Evening. Imagine family night without TV, pizza, or chaos. Just Bible readings, cheerful games, and forced bonding. They're so squeaky clean it feels like satire, but it's real. To Stan, it's mind-blowing. He looks at this perfect, happy family, then at his own disaster of a household, and suddenly he's unsettled. But the real fireworks begin when the Harrisons introduce him to the origin story of Mormonism. And here, South Park goes nuclear.
The book that Joseph Smith found.
Who's Joseph Smith?
Tell us the story of Joseph Smith again, Dad.
Joseph Smith was called a prophet, dum 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 dum. He started the Mormon religion, dum.
You know he claims he spoke with God and Jesus.
Well, how do you know he didn't?
Dum 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 dum.
Joseph, I told my wife that you spoke with God and she didn't believe it.
Joseph Smith claimed that when he was 14, God and Jesus appeared to him and told him to start a new church, except he didn't mention it until he was 26, and the details kept changing. First it was just Jesus, then Jesus and God. The inconsistencies pile up fast.
I am Moroni. I am a Native American.
But your skin is white.
Yes, long ago all Native Americans were white. We all came to America from Jerusalem.
Next comes the Angel Moroni and the golden plates. According to Smith, these revealed that Native Americans were actually ancient Israelites. DNA evidence says otherwise. Native Americans descended from East Asia. Smith's explanation? They used to be white, sinned, and God cursed them with dark skin. That's not just dumb, it's racist.
I have the golden plates here in this hat. I need to have them somewhere dark so I can read the spiritual light.
Oh, okay, write this down. Christ appeared before the Nephites.
Then there's the translation. Smith didn't read the plates directly. He shoved magical stones in a hat, buried his face in it, and dictated glowing words to a scribe. Nobody else ever saw the plates. And when his scribe's wife, Lucy Harris, tested him by hiding some pages, Smith claimed God was mad and rewrote the whole thing with a new revelation. South Park rips all of this apart with parody visuals and that mocking chorus echoing in the background. Brutal doesn't even begin to cover it.
And we all know what happened then, don't we?
Yeah, I know. What happened then?
Ooh, the Rice Krispie squares are done.
Rice Krispie squares!
On the surface, Mormons look squeaky clean, but Parker and Stone point out the cracks. Until 1978, black members couldn't hold leadership positions. The explanation? God changed his mind. That's not satire, that's history. The lifestyle rules feel equally bizarre to outsiders. No coffee, no tea, no alcohol. Special underwear for modesty. To insiders, it's normal life. But to Stan and the audience, it feels strict, cultish, and suffocating.
1, 2, 3, 4. Pay $1,000 property tax. Isn't this great, you guys? Our first family home evening.
And then there's the money. The LDS Church is worth about $265 billion. Members are pressured to tithe 10% of their income. A family making $50,000 a year hands over $5,000. Multiply that by millions, and suddenly, family home evening looks like the front porch of a financial empire. That's the genius of the episode. South Park contrasts Gary's perfect smile with Joseph Smith's nonsense history and the billion-dollar empire built on it.
It's just that the Book of Mormon says a lot of strange stuff, like that Adam and Eve lived in Jackson County, Missouri.
Yes?
But school taught me that the first man and woman lived in Africa.
Well, you can't believe everything school tells you, Stan.
By the finale, Stan finally cracks. He tells Gary, "Your religion is just a bunch of ridiculous stories with no proof." That's the moment South Park usually ends. belief mocked, character exposed, cue credits. But Gary doesn't fold. He delivers one of the smartest clapbacks in South Park history. Yeah, maybe Joseph Smith was a fraud. But my family's happy, my life is great, and I don't care.
No, it proves he did make it all up. Are you blind?
Well, Stan, it's all a matter of faith.
No, it's a matter of logic. If you're gonna say things that have been proven wrong, like that the first man and woman lived in Missouri and that Native Americans came from Jerusalem...
That's the twist. For once, the religious target isn't portrayed as hypocritical or evil. They're portrayed as kind, loving, and maybe even right. Compared to Catholics, Muslims, or Scientologists, the Mormons come out looking like saints. And South Park leaves you with the real question. If a belief system makes people happy and kind, does its absurdity even matter? Of course, they can't end on sincerity alone. As Gary walks away, he drops the ultimate mic line. "You got a lot of growing up to do, buddy." Suck my balls. Comedy perfection. The irony couldn't be sharper. The religion South Park mocked most brutally reacted with the least anger. Mormonism is their comedy jackpot. The paradox is irresistible. A church built on seer stones and laughable myths that somehow produced the friendliest, most wholesome people you'll ever meet. It's absurd and harmless at the same time.
And all of that was just always so fascinating to us that it always ended up a little bit in everything we did. You know, our first feature we did together, and then another feature, and then in South Park it would just keep kind of popping up.
That's why it keeps popping up. From Orgasmo, to All About Mormons, to the Book of Mormon musical, Parker and Stone turned Mormon jokes into an empire. But it's also personal. Colorado culture meant missionaries were everywhere. Mormonism wasn't abstract for them. It was daily life. And unlike Scientology or Catholicism, which carry legal threats or scandals, Mormonism is easy to debunk without much danger. The faith is bizarre, but its followers are polite. That combination is pure comedy catnip.
Dee-da-dee-da-dum. Joseph Smith was called a prophet. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. He started the Mormon religion. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum.
South Park's take on Mormonism wasn't just funny, it was educational. Millions learned Joseph Smith's story from a cartoon jingle. And they learned about a billion-dollar empire, racist doctrine, and cult-like practices. But here's the twist. Even as Parker and Stone tore it all apart, they showed Mormons as the nicest people they'd ever portrayed. That's why the episode still resonates. It forces a bigger question than, is it true? Instead it asks, does truth matter if the result is happiness? And that's South Park's genius. They mocked Mormonism until it looked ridiculous, but they also showed the power of being nice. Because in the end, the faith might be laughably easy to disprove. But as South Park proved, being nice might be the ultimate superpower. Smash that subscribe button so you never miss another wild episode of South Park.